Okay, continuing on. Stupid 10-minute limit. Anyways, as I said before, to the fanatic, atheists are considered the ultimate enemy. You completely disavow their belief in God, and you come up with stuff that hammers at their belief, causes them to question. To hammer at a hardcore belief that made you very comfortable, you will combat it strongly. Think of the child who's believed in Santa Claus for years and someone along comes and says it's not true. Think of what happened, how that child reacts. Now think of somebody who's had a religious belief, a hardcore belief, especially a belief that awards them certain privileges. You come along and say it's not true. You're a threat. A threat that needs to be dealt with as harshly as possible. Now, you're not considered a threat to more moderate religious types. The reason being is because while they do believe in a God, that belief is more towards something that makes them feel comfortable, something that gets them to go through life, and they don't really put much stock into the older, hardcore tenets. Then again, these days almost none do, even the fanatics. Depending on certain Christian circles, for instance, you rarely these days are going to see somebody who's going to tell alright, I need to change my tune. I was about to say that, we tend to have a little bit more liberated views towards women in the household, but I'm realizing that's not really true, especially in the hardcore Christian households. Women are still treated pretty much as slaves with no say. And what's amazing to me is that you'll have women supporting this religion regardless. Even though, according to Paul, a woman's place is not in any type of leadership position over a man whatsoever. She is to shut up, and she is to remain silent and serve him. A completely outdated view that moderate Christians these days are like, man, that's garbage. But that's because they want to evolve their religion, which I think is kind of funny if you think about it. Evolving religion, evolving a particular view of life. My hair doesn't want to work today. Evolving a certain view of life that, it's just funny because they don't Christians in particular, they don't believe in evolution, but here you have moderates trying to evolve their religion. I just think it's funny. But to get on it, what I mean by evolving their religion, no religion survives being stagnant in the same tone. Look at past religions. People, except if you're a certain type of pagan these days, people generally don't believe in the gods of Olympus anymore. We don't believe in the Babylonian gods anymore. There's no belief in the Sumerian ones for the most part. Because, they've been disproven. Modern times has shown that they don't exist. And the religion itself had not been able to keep up with the times or evolve with it, so the values just went downhill. Now, moderates in a religion understand that they need to evolve their religion because there's certain things in their laws that just don't hold water today. The sky is not a solid object. It says so in Genesis, but we know it's not true. The heavens do not revolve around the earth. The sun, the moon, and the stars do not revolve around the earth. We go around the sun. The Bible says the otherwise. The Bible says that, the sun and everything goes around us, but science has proven otherwise. We've more or less, religion, Christianity and such is trying to evolve with the times. That's the only way they can stay alive. And moderates understand this. Even if it's just at the subconscious level, they understand this. Fanatics do not. And what's funny is that if you talk to a fanatic and ask them point blank, does the sun go around the earth or does the earth go around the sun? The more sane, and I use this term loosely, the more sane among the fanatics will agree, well, yeah, that's not true. Yes, but it's in your freaking Bible, what you say is infallible. But of course you point that out and that automatically makes you a target because here you are breaking that down. Some particular religious groups have gone so far as to state that anyone who can disprove the Bible is an agent of the devil. The Mormons come to mind. I'm not making this up. It is a belief among certain Mormons, especially the more hardcore among them, that if you can beat a Mormon in a theological argument and prove that their beliefs make no sense, then you are from the devil because the devil's the only one smart enough to do that. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to, just look it up. I did. You are a threat if you're an atheist. You are a major threat. I don't know other way of saying it, but this is the reason why you might, let's say, bump into a fanatic or a particular religious person who just, no matter what, just constantly bashes you and says you're an agent of the devil and says that you're evil. When you hear those ridiculous beliefs that atheists have a demon inside them, they're possessed by an evil spirit that makes them believe what they believe, it's the only recourse they have left to wiping you out. They have to wipe you out because your very existence is a problem to their belief. You can't work with them. Why am I saying all this? Because most of this you guys probably understand. The reason why is because I've noticed every now and then you might bump into a hardcore Christian who disguises himself or presents himself or herself in a way that you don't think they're hardcore or you don't think they're against you. They say things like, well, I'm just trying to seek the truth. I'm just trying to understand my ways of life and everyone else's ways of life. But then as you keep talking to them, they more and more begin to ridicule you more and bash you more until finally you realize you've been played. And what's worse, because you've allowed them into your fold, they see how you think and they're trying to work arguments to combat you. Which usually they can't come up with a logical argument, but they come up with something that can at least sidestep you, or come up with some new weapon so that the other core hardcore believers can say, oh, he beat you. And then you get your feelings hurt and all that. But if you understood from the get-go that you're in a spiritual war with them, you wouldn't have this happen. And yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. You are at war. They know it. It seems that many atheists don't, except for the hardcore atheists, of course, who are at war with just about every religious type possible. But the more philosophical types who see things in shades of gray and are more trying to be humanistic and work with people tend to forget that we are at a logical and mental war with those who are fanatics. They see us as an enemy. And believe me, the most hardcore of them, if they had the chance to kill us, they would. And I am not being paranoid when I say it because I've met some of them. These guys are nuts. You see them on YouTube. You see them passing out pamphlets. You hear their rhetoric. They believe it. And they will not rest until their view is the dominant one. And why do they want their view to be the dominant one? It's not just because of a psychological inferiority complex where they're worried about everyone else disproving them, but that deep down inside, oh shit, this person, maybe my views are invalid. That is gnawing at them deep down inside psychologically. But the other major reason is because, well, they're God's chosen people. And God has said over and over again in His scriptures, especially in the Bible, that He hates everyone that's not of His fold. And that these people have dominion over everyone else, can wipe them out, that they are nothing to His eyes. How many times have you seen on certain Christian channels or certain comments, oh yeah, God hates the atheists, it's true. You have to understand the corollary to that. When a Christian is saying, yeah, it's true that God hates the atheists, the unspoken part is, therefore we should hate them too. And if God hates them, then anything can happen to them. We can say what we want to them. We can hold them in contempt. They can be annihilated. These are the people you're trying to argue against. Or worse, trying to reconcile with. There's no reconciling with these people. You are at war. I'm one of those type of people that tries to get along with everybody. I may talk about how much I hate humans all the time, and every now and then there's stuff that makes me like, you're a hate freaking humans, but deep down inside, I really do like people and I try to get along. But there's a reason why the name I go by on YouTube is Sword Sage. The sage part is the part of me that wants to gain enlightenment and accept knowledge. The sword part of me is the part that never lets go of that weapon, because every now and then you do need to cut down a few fools in defense. You cannot reason with the fanatic. You are the enemy to them. You are a target. And you are at war with them. Yes, it is good that you're trying to reconcile with religious types. We should have more of that, and I will champion that always. But never drop your sword, because they already have their weapons pointed at you, and they will use them. If you keep this in mind, you will never be caught off guard. That's just all I wanted to say. I'll come up with something a little bit sillier later. Catch you guys later. Take care.